Drew, I need to connect with you after this if you're around for a couple minutes.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, Keely.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
Don Yoakum.
Don Yoakum, yeah.
Don Yoakum, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you, man. What's up?
The one and only.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get a little training on how to build a sales organization today.
Woo-hoo. Yeah. Thank you, Don.
My pleasure.
All right. Haley, you're on here, right? That's Carrie.
Yep, I'm here. I'm actually just sending you a message now.
Oh, you are? Okay, thank you. So Don, did you get reset from what we were talking about the other day?
Not
quite yet.
I'm trying to think of what subject.
Well, we were talking about your numbers.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't. Yeah.
How many of them were there?
At least 85.
Dang.
Yeah, I know.
All
I know.
Right. We'll talk
but
about
it's all good. It's all good.
Oh yeah, I know.
We're growing like crazy, so
I know you are.
It's fun.
It is. I gotta pick your brain or get accountable with you again once a week because.
Well, you know what's funny is the last slide of this presentation today is going to address that accountability.
Good. Okay. Good. I need to hear it. Right, Peter?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How are you doing, Peter? Last time we interacted, you were kind of fighting the health issue a little bit. Are you feeling better, stronger?
Yeah, I was on the struggle bus for a good 2 months and probably another month or two where it was, getting back to feeling full strength. So I did pick up an exercise bike recently, been jumping on that, starting to get warmer here. So out doing more. So yeah, doing much better.
Good. Glad to hear it. So Keely, this presentation is about a 20-minute presentation. Mm-hmm. So were you thinking maybe just do a brief introduction for me and then I present it and then we kind of open it up for Q&A?
Yeah, that sounds good. I may just interject and ask you questions in between, me, but
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, I just want to wait a few more minutes and let more people in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What we normally do is we start with Drew with Movement Mortgage to talk about our mortgage world and what's going on there. And I don't know if Dave Collins is going to join us today. So we're probably on looking at 10 minutes or so before you start.
Yeah, whenever you just tell me.
Okay.
I apologize for being so casual this morning, but I met some friends for the weekend and I went to pack to go to Roseville today and I realized I left all of my nice clothes in my hotel.
What, in the closet?
Yeah.
Oh
so I gotta drive back. I'm in Santa Cruz. I gotta drive back to Monterey.
How far?
I mean, it's an hour.
Oh gosh.
I know. I mean, you could go to worse places, right? But
yeah, of course.
But it was a little shocking to go to the closet and see nothing.
I think a number of us have done that. I know I've left clothes behind before at hotels. Yeah.
Well, usually when I will leave something, it'll be like a iPhone charger or something like that. And of course, I can never find that, right? Okay. But this is actually not an immaterial amount of clothes. So I was pretty glad that they have them.
So Don, you remember Steve Schluter, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Steve taught me the most ingenious thing when he was doing Bold. His first time out, what he would do is he'd bring 3 suits with him. And he'd wear one on Tuesday, and then he would go to the hotel he was going to speak out on Wednesday and leave that suit there and have it dry cleaned. wear the next one, and then leave it at the next hotel and dry clean. And then that way, for 7 weeks in a row, whenever he would go back, he would have a freshly dry cleaned suit at the hotel waiting for him, and he didn't have to carry any suits with him.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's a man who's been on the road before.
Yeah, no kidding.
Indeed. All right. What were your tricks, Peter? Peter was a bold coach, so.
Oh, I had many. I mean, I had the travel thing down. I mean, I was doing 110 nights a year in a hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I had it pretty down pat.
No joke. Okay. Well, good. We still have got people joining. Carrie is on vacation, and I think she's in Scottsdale, Arizona. Good for her. Thrilled for her, actually. There's no way for me to get rid of this dinging, so you're gonna have to put up with that for just a little bit longer.
Hey, that means we got more people coming in. That's always it.
Thank you, Don.
Keely, do you want to make me co-host and I can help accept people? So you
That'd
can
be
just
great.
focus on that? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I can't do two things at once very well. Okay, make co-host. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. Who's that? That's Robin, man.
Hello, Robin.
She is.
Team height.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to our Monday Rev Share huddle. Like I said, Carrie is out of town today, so it's me solo with my special guest. And of course, we've got Drew Ferguson with Movement Mortgage, who's going to tell us the latest and greatest. What's going on, Drew? What do we need to know?
Hey, everybody. Good being with you here today. I'm going to do a couple of things in the chat here after I finish talking. One will be an invite to our Movement Monday tonight, ongoing social media series with Nakia. And tonight's going to be about TikTok. So I'm going to be learning about TikTok as much as everybody else is as well this Monday evening. So I'll put the link for that in here in just a second. If you'd like to register, that's going to be tonight at 6 o'clock. And they usually go 45 minutes to an hour or so. So if that works for your schedule, we hope to see you there. Second thing I wanted to talk about, we actually talked about it a couple of weeks ago, was paying attention to inversions of the yield curve and how those can be recession indicators that are historically have hit, right? So the 30-year U.S. Treasury inverted for the first time since 2006 the other day. The 7-year is also inverted at this point, and the 2-year is down to 13 basis points. So certainly heading towards that. Typically, we looked at a chart a couple weeks ago. When those happen, recessions follow in 12 to 24 months after that. So when recessions happen, mortgage rates drop. So when we think about that from a strategy perspective, we need to be thinking about not necessarily what is the lowest rate option for me right now on this mortgage, because the mortgage you're putting in place is likely just going to be a placeholder for you for the next 12 to 24 months. So thinking about a total cost option up front, knowing that you're only going to be in the current mortgage you get for a very brief period of time, is really the most important thing we can get our clients thinking about. And then the one last thing I also am going to upload here is I shot a little brief 1-minute video just explaining what's going on with the rate hikes. I'm sure that's the main question that you're getting from people out there. Obviously, it's a huge buzz in the media right now as well. So I've got a brief 1-minute video I'm going to upload to the chat as well. Feel free to share that with all of your buyers, just so that you can get that question handled for them on why rates are rising, why they're rising so quickly. That's a video for them. And if they have any questions, I'm happy to speak with them and talk through any questions they may have as well.
That's awesome. We'll also upload that to the Family Tree workplace page too,
Fantastic.
so that you all can share that with your clients.
I'm going to try to start doing that at least twice a month, if not weekly, so that you all have something that you can just blast out to your clients instead of having to remember everything that we talk about on the call.
Awesome.
We do not try, we do.
There we go. I got you, Robin.
I was so there. I was ready to say it, and I was like, no.
This is why I'm glad you came into my life, Peter.
I got you, brother.
We're all glad about that.
Not
Okay.
me. I mean, come on.
Oh, Robin,
Robin, of course you know you.
you're a
Thank you,
given.
guys.
You're a given. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Drew. We appreciate you as always. I don't see Dave Collins on the call. Does anybody know if he's coming on or not? No.
I know that he is his sister-in-law, and he's got family, so he might not be on here.
Okay, thanks, Alyssa. Good deal. All right, Peter, do you have anything before we start grilling Don Yoakum?
No way. I'm just going to get out of the way and listen to this one. I got my notes here. I'm ready to go.
Right. Exactly.
We got a fantastic speaker today. I had the pleasure of getting to know him a little bit last year through actually Mark Soto, who's a coach with Movement Mortgage, who Drew knows, was the one that introduced me to Don, and I'm excited. Like my career and Keely's like paralleled each other. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I met Don. Don, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is correct. So we met at a Brent Gove Scottsdale event at the JM Marriott.
JW. Yeah.
No, not KW. This was
no, it's JW Marriott.
Oh, sorry, you said KW. Sorry, I was going to say I didn't know you then. Okay, so JW Resort in Scottsdale. You had been with the company. I think you just came on, or you were just joining with Brent. And I had only been with the company for, I think, about 3 or 4 months, and we got to chatting, and I didn't realize who I was talking to. So Don, and correct me if I'm wrong, owned several KW market centers before coming over to EXP.
I think I might be the only person that has successfully built 10 from the ground up, including one that was the most profitable at one point.
Wow. What a testimony that is. So, but we got him now, and he is growing like crazy, and he has been a personal accountability partner for me in the past, and we got to start that back up again. But I love your spirit, Don, and I love the, he also I shared the stage with him in Cabo a month ago. So Don Yoakum, just kind of tell us your story, and leave a little bit of room at the end for your recent experience that we just talked about yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. So, and you're probably going to want to give me screen capability so that I can pull this PowerPoint up. And while that's happening, I will just share with you folks, as Keely mentioned, I had previously been in Keller Williams for 10 years, had a nice tenure there. Learned a lot about business and recruiting, and which I would consider to be the master skill of business, is to be able to attract and retain talent. And so I feel fortunate for that. That being said, EXP, in my opinion, is a vastly superior business model, and much more sustainable, particularly for the future. And also, it was tricky, when I owned the market centers, because I could afford, or I could portion out ownership opportunities for 5 or 6 people in a particular market center. And that was about it. In a market center of 200 to 300 people, right? And so in EXP, everyone has the same opportunity. And we all can be in ownership, actually, from your very first closing. You will be in ownership. And some will take that further than others. I'm going to talk a lot about the ICON program and how that relates to building an organization. But, gosh, I almost consider it financial malpractice for someone at ICON level production to not be at EXP.
I love that. I love that.
What I'll do is I will share my screen here, and I'm going to bring up a deck. This is an updated version of what Keely saw me present in Cabo a few weeks ago, and Sam's the dramatic story. And so we're going to get right into the meat of it, and I think it will be of value to you. And I'm going to also get this deck to Keely so that she could make sure that you guys have access to it. It sounds like you have a Facebook workplace group through Family Tree. So that would be great. And you what I envision here is presenting this in about 15, 20 minutes. And then ideally, if you put your questions in the chat, then we should be able to get them rapid fire afterward. Keely, being the big boss, of course, you can interrupt at any time. But here we go. So one of the first things that I want you to think about and have a mindset around is that EXP is, in my mind, a platform. It's a platform where we can build a sales organization. So, one of the things that Gary Keller popularized was the idea of building a team at Keller Williams, of course. And pretty bright on his part, because he got a lot of his most talented people to help recruit for his company. And having a team is a way to create a bit of leverage. I would characterize that as maybe 2x leverage over being a real estate practitioner. But what EXP has done is they have built a platform that can scale unlike any business I've ever witnessed in my business career, which is, I'm afraid to say, is now spanning almost 40 years. And so we really have an incredible opportunity. Healy and my organization is going to surpass 1,000 agents this year. But there are some folks that have gone to 15, 16, 17,000 agents on this platform, which is just crazy. And, Brent Go, for example, who's a wonderful example, he just went to a 4-day work week. Okay, so no broker liability, no capital risk, no fixed expenses. He does invest a lot in building his organization and supporting all of us. But he could turn those off if he wanted to, unlike, it is in a bricks and mortar operation. So really feel like we have a great opportunity to build a sales organization. And what this presentation is about is showing you how to do it. So the first thing that I want you to think about when you're building a business is, who's your ideal client? In my mind, there are, anybody could come with a real estate license to EXP and have a successful career, take advantage of our stock, build a sales organization if they choose to. But if they are an icon level producer, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, it's almost financial malpractice on their family to not be at EXP. And so because that value proposition is so compelling as an icon, I consider them to be my ideal recruit. And but yours might be different. But just what I want you to do is choose one. Once you make that choice, then you want to make sure that that person is fully supported with a value proposition that is going to keep them engaged. And I think that's real easy to do as an icon because they're vesting into a material amount of stock. But whatever that is for you, again, I want you to be able to articulate it and have them understand it so that you don't have a retention issue. And then whatever expectations that you set for your recruits, we want to make sure that we outperform them. And I would go further to say, and this could apply to your personal practice as well as building a sales organization, is that the referrals that you receive either to buy or sell a home or to join your organization are going to be proportionate to the amount that you exceed the expectations that you set, right? And so let's be in the business of under-promising and over-delivering. Once you have identified your ideal client and you're clear about your value proposition, we want you to build your list. And one of the things that I'm working hard on for our organization is making sure that that is never an inhibitor to them. So we're building a pretty extensive database of agents throughout the country. There's some great tools out there that you can access. Broker Metrics is one, Market View Broker is another, and make sure that you have that data so that you can call once you've exhausted your personal list. And of course, that's where you want to start. You want to start with people that you know, like, and trust, and you would be most interested in being in business with. Now, a lot of people are going to say, okay, build a list of 100. For some people, that can be overwhelming. And so I would just say, make sure going into every week, you have a list of 10. These are the 10 people that are the best fit for you, that you'd most want to be in business with. Once you have that, I want you to time block to be able to reach out to them. You can dial 10 people in 1 hour because you're probably going to contact 2 of them. For us realtors running around like one-armed paper hangers, we're not easy to reach. And so you will find the contact rate of be about 20%. And so if you've blocked 1 hour, you will be able to get those calls in. You'll be able to make 10 dials, you'll be able to make 2 contacts. One little rule that I have for our team is that you don't get to decide on the day of the call who you're calling. Okay, you have to have figured that out at least 1 business day ahead. And I want you to go catch up on what's going on in those 10 people's lives. Maybe Google them, go to their LinkedIn profile, go to their Facebook page, make a couple notes on each one, so that when you call, you can speak intelligently about what's current and relevant in their life. And you want to have a script, right? So I don't want you to be a robot, but I want you to be able to get into this call. So Keely, you know, you're my guinea pig here. I'm gonna ring you as a icon level producer. What is your city? Are you in Charlotte?
Yes.
Okay. And how many deals did you do last year?
I did about 30.
Okay, perfect.
With a partner.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe
okay,
more.
So ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Keely?
Yes.
Hi, Keely. This is Don Yoakum. Keely, I'm reaching out to you because you appear to be a top producer in Charlotte. It looks like you closed roughly 30 transactions last year. Is that about correct?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, congratulations. Keely, you must know that that puts you in the top 5% of our industry. So you're doing great, and we applaud you for that. But the reason, Keely,
sure I'm busy.
Yeah, I can imagine you are. I can imagine you are. Doesn't it feel a little bit like a high-speed treadmill ride in the real estate business at times?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Well, Keely, the reason why I'm calling you is because I, at one day, would like for us all to have an opportunity to step off that treadmill. And at your level of production, with the company that I represent, you'd be considered an icon and you'd be awarded $16,000 in stock each fiscal year. Are you familiar with the icon program at EXP?
No, I have not heard a lot of great things about EXP, so I've not been open to really hearing about it, but
sure.
I've got a few minutes, so.
Yeah, well, good. Well, I appreciate your openness, and you know, I don't know what you heard, but I can tell you that I've had a very positive experience with it. I looked at, in preparation for our call, I saw that you were at Keller Williams, and as I was as well. And how did you find your experience at Keller Williams?
Fantastic. I love it. I'm still here. Yeah, I am. Yeah. It's the best real estate company in the world.
Sure. You know, it's interesting you say that because, boy, I'll tell you, a few years ago, I would have said exactly the same thing. As a matter of fact, I've built several of the Keller Williams market centers, and I spent 10 years there. And I actually, even in hindsight, even though I'm no longer with the company, I would say that I had a tremendous experience there. I met a lot of wonderful people. I find the culture to be great. I love the learning-based environment. I was challenged a little bit because I didn't feel that the profit sharing was as material as it was intended to be. And also the stock opportunity was very limited. I built several market centers, incidentally, but I found that I could only make that opportunity available to about 5 people. And in offices that we were building to 200 and 300 agents. But, for someone like yourself, Keely, that is what we call an icon level producer, there's a really unique stock opportunity that is made available to you. And as I mentioned, it's $16,000 in a fiscal year. And I think if you were to do some due diligence, you might find, like I did, that some of what you've heard, especially, well, as being inside Keller Williams, of course, they want to believe that they have the very best model. And up until just a few years ago, I would say they did, actually, right? And so I know I called you out of the blue today, but with your permission, could I get you a bit of information on the Icon program? And then perhaps we could connect. Today's Monday, so maybe we could connect on Wednesday or Thursday. Is there a time that's convenient for you on one of those days?
Yeah, I guess we could. I'm just, I've heard about the stock and the stock options and all that sort of thing. I guess I just don't understand where the stock comes from. If you could clear that up for me a little bit. I mean, it sounds great, but
yeah.
I'm not
well,
convinced.
I'll answer that briefly now, but then we'll go into it more in detail when we get together on Wednesday. And one of the really wonderful things about the stock at EXP is that it's publicly traded on the NASDAQ exchange under the symbol EXPI. So you can do your own independent research on that. And when I was at Keller Williams, I think I told you, I made stock available to some of my top agents, but it was in a privately held firm. The only people that you could really sell it to were people right within that office. And so it was a very limited market. And so it didn't ever reach the value that I have experienced at EXP. So, but that's the deal. It's, you're owning stock in a publicly traded company. We hold it at Morgan Stanley, and I'm excited to be able to share what a significant stock opportunity it actually would be for someone like yourself, especially. And so is Wednesday at 2:00 good for you?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Something may come up, but I'll go ahead and put that down.
Fantastic. Okay, and I'm going to text you some information to review just so that you have an overview in preparation for our call. And I will also send you a link for Zoom. So thank you so much for making the time, and I appreciate your open-mindedness, and I'm sure we'll have a valuable conversation. Yes. Okay, so anyway, that was that was a much longer rendition of the opening script that I intended, but because you were playing along with me, I just went with it.
Yep.
And you were actually probably pretty similar. I would say that they might even be a little more curt than you were.
Yep.
In general. So it's important that you be prepared for that and be able to match their pacing, right? And a saying that I use a lot is, like, if Keely would have really come on strongly, hey Don, I really don't have the time, I would say, Keely, I appreciate that. I'm only reaching out to you because you're so unique in your marketplace, and I know I called you out of the blue. I want to make sure you know about this Icon program because it's really a material amount of stock that could be awarded to you. How about if we schedule a time later in the week? And I deflect the call, I let her know she can get out, and then I go for an appointment, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's keep going.
Awesome.
One of the things about real estate is that it's a tremendous opportunity to earn income. And it really is a high-speed treadmill ride. For an Icon level producer especially, they are getting up and they are running. And what's interesting though is I say for an Icon level producer, but you know what? I have found that no matter what level of production a realtor is at, they're busy. Okay. And so there's just there really is no leverage in this. And I will tell you though, when you are looking to attract people into your organization, you do want to make sure, I have just found the difference between addition and multiplication is if you can find people that understand the power of business leverage, right? And so how would you know if someone has gained an insight on that? Well, do they use a transaction coordinator? Do they have an executive assistant? Do they have a few buyer agents that will work those outlying properties? Are they primarily focused on listing, which is more time efficient? Have they taken some of these initial steps, right? And if they have, then they are now experiencing what I would refer to is 2x leverage, okay? And we want someone of that mentality. So if I was, if I'm waving my magic wand, I've identified a icon level producer that understands business leverage. This model is going to be really compelling for them because now they're going to be able to achieve 10x leverage. As a matter of fact, you could make the argument even to go to 100x leverage if you are building something like what Gene Frederick, Brent Gove, and Rob Flick, Sheila Fedron have done. All right, so you've got your ideal client, you've time blocked, but now the rubber meets the road. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you make 2 new contacts a day. That means you're going into every business day, 5 days a week, with 10 prepared people to call. So 2 contacts a day is 10 a week, is 40 a month. If you just do this, you're going to translate that to 1 recruit a month. Now, if you're going like me after icon level producers, don't expect for that to occur in the first month because icon level producers have got a lot going on. And it is normal for them to have an incubation cycle of roughly 90 days. But if you stay on this, I can tell you with some confidence that you'll be able to convert 1 icon every month for the following 21 months. So in 2 years, and by the way, in the second year, if you kept doing this, you'll get 2 a month. So in 2 years' time, I tell people you can lay a foundation of 24 icons with this program. And that's what I want you to do. But what's interesting is while you're laying that foundation of those producers, and mind you, they don't all have to be icons. I'm just giving you, waving my magic wand and telling you my dream scenario here, okay? Because what you will find if you recruit the average agent and get 24 of them, 1 of them will emerge as a business builder for you. Okay, but I want to stack the deck because if you get 3 business builders in your organization, that is going to be a foundation for a 7-figure recurring income. And if you do like what I've just described, while you're laying that foundation, you're not going to have 24 agents in 2 years. You're going to have 150 to 200 agents because they're going to be emerging in your organization as builders. I'm suggesting to you at least 3 of them. Now, what happens after that 2 years is 3 years from that day. So 5 years from when somebody starts, your organization will grow organically to 500. Now, Keely and I have both beat these numbers, okay? And we didn't recruit 24 icons in our first 24 months, did we, Keely? Okay, but we still beat these numbers, okay? So what I'm telling you guys here is if you do this, you're going to get this, okay? And it's not just Keely and me that have beat these numbers. We could show you 100 people that have beat these numbers, okay? But this is solid. You could make this representation to somebody and feel high confidence that they're going to do this. And when they, by the way, just in their first 2 years, with 150 to 200, they have a 6-figure recurring income. You know how hard it is to generate $100,000 recurring income, okay? But in 5 years' time, to have $250,000, even an icon level producer has now replaced their net income.
And that's the most powerful story right there.
That's right.
Right, that's what we want to do.
Exactly, because now we can step off that treadmill, whenever we want. We can be more selective about the people with whom we work. And by the way, just the last step of this is, and Keely and I are going to have this happen this year with less than 4 years. Okay, I'm suggesting 7 here, is that organization will then go to 1,000 agents within the next 2 years. Okay. My organization right now will go from 500 to 1,000 in 1 year. But, again, this whole theme I hope you hear is our job is to under promise and over deliver. Okay. All right. So what have we done? We've created in 5 years' time a recurring income of 250,000. Financial advisors will tell you a recurring stream of income has an asset value of at least 2.5 million. So just think about that. With virtually no investment, $149, no broker liability and capital risk, you've now got this $2.5 million asset. It's crazy. Okay, so one of the strategies, once we get people in the funnel, and I want to encourage you to consider building for events 6 to 8 weeks before they occur, is want events to do the heavy lifting. It's critical, though, that you build relationship with your prospects before the event, because you don't want them going to the event, running into an old friend and having the old friend sponsor them. You want to be in good relationship before you get to the event, so the event acts as a natural close for you, okay? And so what I want you to know is that events are important and that you can use them as leverage. And so not going to the events is the equivalent of failing, okay? So here's my grading system, and you're gonna find them a little tough, but hey, life is tough, okay? So F for no show. D is if you show up. Now, to be fair, this event Keely and I were just at in Cabo, there's 77,000 agents in the company. There were only 1,200 of us there. Okay, so if you showed up, you were in the top 2%, okay? But I'm still giving you a D, so sorry. I told you it's gonna be tough. Okay, if you show up and you bring one of your agents, you get a C, okay? Because now, not only are you gonna come away from that event feeling encouraged, but your agent is as well. And so you got the agent doing some of the work. If you show up, your agent shows up and you bring a guest, now you got a B, okay? Not quite on honor roll here, but we're getting there. And if you show up, your agent shows up and you each bring a guest, now you got an A, okay? So this is the way we wanna do events. All right, to summarize. Lay your business foundation with your ideal client. Execute a 2-10-40 plan. Let the events do the heavy lifting and create a natural close for you. And then once you get in business with these people, I want you to match their energy no matter how high it is, because one person in this can make you a 6-figure recurring income. What would you do if someone showed up in your life that's going to create $1 million asset for you, okay? You bust your butt, you do whatever it takes to make sure they have anything and everything they need to get where they want to go, right? Because it's going to take you there as well.
Yeah.
All right, so now you have the plan. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to partner up, okay? And I want you to choose a professional that would be in a referral market to you, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? So you're not competing for the same buyers and sellers. I want you to agree to a 2-10-40 plan. And the perfect day, why it says 2, 10, and 1 is the perfect day is you make 10 dials, you make 2 contacts, and you get 1 appointment, okay? And that is what you're going to be texting your accountability partner every single working day for 12 weeks, okay? And that's the period that I want you to have your partner. So you want to have somebody, by the way, that is like-minded. The reason why Keely and I agreed to partner up is because our organizations were roughly the same size, right? And we both had been Keller Williams team leaders, so there was some like-mindedness, and it's fun. You know, you send each other a text, and then once a month we would show each other our dashboard to see what the actual progress was. And you know, I can tell you that, you know, as of last week anyway, Keely was at 680 agents, which is awesome, right? And so this is a really important piece of this. And it's also equally important that you get a new partner every 90 days, because what I have found is that after 90 days, you get too familiar with your partner. And what I mean by that is that you start letting them off the hook, you start learning their bad habits, and you want to go into these relationships with the best expectations, and you want to believe in them so that they will not want to let you down, okay? And I'm going to add one other little element. Before you get going in this, I want you to get each other's Venmo account. And when you don't report your 10 dials, okay, you can't control if the people are going to answer the phone or if you're going to get an appointment. But if you don't make your 10 dials, or in Keely's case, she uses messaging a lot. If it's, and I'm okay with that, by the way. If you say, hey, I'm not comfortable starting with a call, I want to start with a message, then whatever it is that you've committed to, then make that agreement with your partner, right? And if you don't honor your agreement, it's $100 Venmo, okay? That day, okay? So you get to the close of business, you don't make it, you send the Venmo, okay? And these are my suggestions. Of course, you don't have to follow them, but I have seen this work or not work. And if you put a little bit of teeth in it, it works better.
Right.
All right.
The
Okay.
money's the teeth. Yeah, the money is. Yeah, and you can go higher than that too, as a few of us on this call have committed to.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, that's a very good point. It has to sting.
It has to
okay,
sting, or you won't do
it. Yeah, if it doesn't, then you're not sending enough. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Keely, that concludes my presentation, though. I can stop my share if you like.
Yeah.
And let's have some Q&A.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't see any questions. I'm shocked in the chat, but let me hear from you guys. What do you got?
I thought that was great. I mean, obviously the 21040 kind of spoke to me, but Don, I wrote down, when you said people don't always understand leverage or, asking about it, I'm big on asking questions. So I wrote down the question, if I'm talking to Keely, it's, hey, Keely, where's the best leverage in your business right now?
I love that question.
Right. And just take them into it. And everyone in real estate has experienced leverage at some point. It's called listings.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so if they're like, well, I don't have any leverage in our business. So do you not do listings in your business? Well, yeah, I do listings. How's that helped you grow your business? And then just take them into a conversation about leverage.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, this journey that Peter is talking about is a really important one because they probably have utilized business leverage and just not been conscious of it. Like Peter's saying, that point where you go from working primarily as a buyer agent to a listing agent, that's about 2x leverage actually, okay? And then when you get a TC, that's another step of leverage. And then when you get a buyer's agent that will work those outlying buyers, that's another step. And then when you get an executive assistant, okay? And then maybe a couple more agents. I told you, my perfect recruit would be an icon level producer that has a TC, executive assistant, 4 to 5 buyer agents. Let me tell you, I've done the research on this too. Over 50% of the people that have the biggest organizations in this company came from having a production team, okay? So if you want your organization to grow through multiplication, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for an icon level producer that gets leverage. Go ahead, Keely.
And they're used to recruiting, right? They have to.
Yeah,
they're used to.
That's right.
Every day.
They know what it takes to attract somebody to work on their business, right? Like, you know, and all the things that go with that.
Yeah.
You know, I would say that if you don't know what to say for the icebreaker, pick up the phone. Like, eventually what will happen is you will settle on something that's right for you. Like, Keely has done this 1,000 times. Don's done this 1,000 times. I've done it a couple, 2 or 3 times myself. Like, one that I always settled on, especially for real estate agents, was, hey, Don, it's Peter Passetto. Are you with clients right now, or do you have a quick minute? Like, and that immediately was sort of showing them respect. Hey, they might be busy with their own thing. Hey, are you with clients right now, or you got a quick minute? And people would say, well, I'm with clients, but they're inside looking at a house. Yeah, I got a quick minute, you know, or something, or no, I don't have a quick minute right now, but so Don, we got a question from the group. These 10 people to call per day, do you know them all personally, or cross sale, or how did you get to those 10 people?
Yeah, again, I would want you to fully exhaust your people that you know, like, and trust. And I have found when somebody comes new to EXP that the very best question to ask them is, who did you do a deal with last year that you felt was really professional and you would enjoy being in business with, right? And so then, by the way, the script for that one is ring, ring, ring. Hi, is this Peter? He says, yes. I say, hi, Peter. Hey, I was thinking about our transaction in March on Timberlake Lane. Again, I want to thank you for your professionalism. And I know we had an issue with the roof, but you really handled that well. So I appreciate that. And Peter, you may know when I was, when we did that transaction, I was at KW. I've made a move, and I'm just curious. I'm sure you're happy at XYZ company, but would you be open to learn a little bit about EXP? You know, something like that. So you acknowledge the transaction very specifically, and then, and you know, of course, you're only going to call people you had a good transaction with, right? But that's actually one of my favorite calls. But I'm actually, the script that I did with Keely was cold. That was
a cold call.
Yeah, that was a cold call. And I mean, you could say that it's not a cold call because I have qualified my lead. Okay. If you call a consumer out of the blue and circle dial and say, hey, do you want to buy or sell? I don't know if that's much of a qualified lead, but I have specifically called Keely because she's an icon level producer. I know how many transactions. If you guys remember, when I called her, I said, Keely, I'm calling you specifically because you closed 30 deals last year, right? So
it's a warm lead in a cold relationship.
Actually, that's a really great way to say it. That's right. It's a warm lead in a cold relationship.
And it gives us the confidence, right? I mean, when I've prepared, like with anything, right? If you prepare yourself, you're going to feel better about whatever you're doing. So
absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, when I'm calling someone like that too, in my heart of hearts, I know I have the best solution for her. Okay. So it's not like I'm having to sell this. I'm just trying to help make her aware that this is available to her, right? Like when I was a listing agent, one of the things that I did on the way to the listing appointment is I'd be asking myself, why me? You know, why would someone choose me over the other 500 agents in this area, right? And if I didn't have a compelling answer for that, I didn't do that well at the listing, okay? And so that's why it's so important for you to choose your ideal client and don't get hung up on it has to be an icon, okay? It's whatever you want to build your organization with, okay? I'm just telling you where multiplication comes from, right? So I actually didn't start this way. my first 2 years, I was just recruiting. I came to this company with a KW mentality. They hire anybody that will fog a mirror. Okay. What I found is in a cloud-based brokerage, people can fall through the cracks when you do that. And so I stopped doing that. Okay. And we did put other systems in place, like you guys, where you have trainings daily and connecting them on Zoom and all these other things. But, I don't want to have to be in the motivation business. I want to go out and find people that are already excited and they're on fire. And I just got to show them where to go and how to get there.
Yep.
Right. Okay. How we, did you want to wrap this up or do we have any other? Let's see, can I ask?
I have a question.
Yes, fire away.
One, thanks. And I love listening to you. It's like listening to Mr. Rogers. So I'm like, I just want to talk to you all day long.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm like, oh, what did he say? Like, that's why you're crushing it. Because who wants to listen to you? Everyone.
Exactly.
All right. So what's your no? She says, no, not interested. I've heard about EXP. I hate it. What's your no? What's your reply?
Fair enough, Robin. First of all, I know I called you out of the blue. Okay. And you're a top producer. So I've got to imagine that you're having a good experience at Keller Williams. Will you tell me, what is it that you most appreciate about KW?
I love the culture.
Yeah. You know what? I did too, for over 10 years. I thought that the culture was fantastic. And I especially appreciated the learning-based environment. And I believed in my heart of hearts when I was there that there could be no better place. And I was proved wrong. A lot of the things that I most appreciated about Keller Williams are even more prevalent at EXP. And that's
y'all are
why
just recruiters. Like, y'all are just recruiters.
Some folks do have a perception of that. And, it was interesting, Robin, because at our recent national convention, we were shared a statistic about that. Do you know that 88% of the people at EXP do no recruiting at all? They've just come because of our technology, because they want to be stockholders in a company that's publicly traded on the NASDAQ. And they've, for whatever reason, they've chose to do no recruiting at all. And we appreciate them for that, because
away
the
from
only
all
way
that profit share.
What's that?
You just walked away from all that profit share. Like I've got a ton of profit share.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you have attracted some people to the company. I'm curious, how many have you attracted?
27.
Okay. And so with 27, I would imagine that you have a really significant number of folks in your organization. Do you know about how many you have?
I think I have 27. That's it. And I've got I get at least $300 a month.
Yeah, right. That
I'm feeding you, man.
So yeah. No, you're making this too easy.
Yeah, that's too easy.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing.
What do you say to that?
Hey,
you were totally, because you walked away. You personally had to have walked away from some significant profit share. But
no, I get profit share every month.
Don't you still get the profit share?
Of course, I do.
That's right. Well, they changed it just recently, but
I do though, and
we still get it, baby.
Cool.
I think we got another question.
That's cool. I can shut up. Thank you.
Justin, did you have a question?
Thank you. You were great. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
So thanks, Don. My name's Justin. I'm calling from Asheville. I'm in Asheville market.
Awesome.
So I talked to an agent this morning who I got wind that wasn't happy at their firm. And so I called them, did a cold, warm call, as you call it. And their response to me was, and I wanted to see how you would handle this. Their response was, I have a couple friends that are EXP agents. I'm probably, if I go to EXP, I'm going with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I'm sure we all get that.
Yeah, we do. And the good news is that it sounds like you're considering EXP, and it may be the best move for you to join with one of your friends. Can you tell me what you know about EXP now? Okay. Now, okay, if they know a lot, then I would say you should send them back to the people and actually then reach out to that person and say, hey man, I just called this guy and he said that he may join, if he joins, he's going to join with you. So I'd get on the stick. Okay. But if they don't know squat about the business model, then that would also be an indication that that quote friend has not done much of anything. And you know, you can do, if you want to just be extra careful, you can say, well, when's the last time you met with them to talk about EXP?
So I'm going to probably get, it looks like we have 23 callers on the list. So I'll probably get 23 messages right now from people going, what are you saying? But so my response to them was, one of the downfalls that we see sometimes in EXP is that sometimes people get left alone. I have a group I'm building, a great team that I'm building, and I'd love to talk to you more about that. What your thoughts on that response?
Yeah,
I kind of put through the EXP under the bus with that response. I get that.
Yeah. So I don't know that I would go there. I think sometimes in this case, it's better to use reverse psychology and say, I would say something more along the lines of, and by the way, they still haven't told, you haven't told me their name, okay? If you name their name, then that tells me, because by the way, home buyers come into open houses all the time saying they're working with an agent. Some are, some aren't, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody knows an EXP agent at this point. What I'm trying to determine is, do you really have a relationship, or is this just a defense mechanism that you're giving me to get off the call? Okay. And so I'm just going to be asking more questions. When did you meet? What did you learn? If you were to join, Fred, what would the benefits of that be? And they're going to say, oh, I don't know. I'd say, well, I can't speak to the benefits of being in Fred's organization, although, he could be great. I can tell you what we have, and here's what we do. Bam, bam, bam.
Thank you.
We had one more question here. I want to make sure we got to it. And Maggie.
Never thought I would be taking these calls from my phone, but I guess that's what having a 2-month-old does. Hi, guys. My name's Maggie Jensen. I'm considering joining EXP, and I had a nice call with Keely earlier this morning. Last year, as a new agent in Florida, but experienced agent from New York City, I joined Keller Williams. And when I didn't get into production with promised lead gen and other things that, didn't pan out, I started working as an ISA for the OPs. So I was setting appointments for team leaders, and I had about 35 people who named me as their sponsor last year. So wow. If I'm going back to these people saying, hey, I just moved over to EXP, they're going to be like, Maggie, we trusted you back then, and then you just left. What would I say to that, Don?
Yeah, well, incidentally, by the way, when I was in the team leader role, I sponsored 35 people personally. So we did exactly the same number. But I will tell you a couple things, and I will answer your question, okay? But I just want you to know that 35, well, you can tell me, about how much profit share are you making now?
Okay, whatever that woman with the short hair said, it's never been more than 300 a month. So that was pretty spot on.
Okay.
Also not funny.
Yeah, well, so that was Robin. And so I want you to think about what it means to sponsor 35. Okay, when I was at Keller Williams, I was one of the most successful recruiters in the entire company for that 10-year span. And as a TL, I took an office from 10 to 184 agents in 27 months doing the 35 that you did. So what I'm telling you is you've got some badass talent, okay? And so what now the question is how are you going to make the highest and best use of that talent, okay? I showed you in the graphic today, if you would recruit 24 people in 2 years, that would lay a foundation for an organization of $525 million in recurring income, okay? So if there's people out there on the planet like you that have that skill, okay, and by the way, this skill you and I have, or Keely has, it's not a common thing, okay? You have a really unique ability to create a $250,000 recurring income, okay? So I'd be running to EXP if I were you. Okay, but now let me answer your question, okay? Because if you think about it, I had the exact same problem, right? I encouraged all these people to join Keller Williams, and then I went and moved to EXP. Okay, well, I'm going to give you one example. My first recruit at Keller Williams was a gentleman by the name of Tom Days. He went on to be the #1 Keller Williams agent in the world. That's right, Keller Williams. Sometimes I get them mixed up still. For 7 years, okay? I got him ownership in 2 market centers, one of which was the market center that became the most profitable. That was Roseville, okay? Tom stayed there for 18 years, okay? And he obviously succeeded at a very high level, but having a production team and nominal profit sharing was not enough to get him off the treadmill. So my recruit for Tom, he was my first recruit at EXP also. This is 3.5 years ago. And Tom is now in a position to step off the treadmill, okay? And so what I would tell you is that you don't steer people bad to have them go to Keller Williams. In fact, I still consider Keller Williams to be the second best company out there, okay? It's kind of like the difference in that there's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, and it says that good is the enemy of great. And because people have it so good at Keller Williams, they don't realize they could actually have it great, right? And so what I would just do is I'd just be transparent with those people and just say, hey, when I attracted you to Keller Williams, I did so in good faith, believing that I had the best model in the industry, okay? I'm sorry, but I just don't, for someone like you, okay, I now don't believe that to be true, okay? Now, I will tell you, by the way, if it's a new agent and they're not gonna join a production team, they're probably better at Keller Williams because they can go into the office every day. There's tremendous training that they can access. There is really good culture, okay? So if I have a new agent at EXP, I got to make sure I put them on a production team and that production team has an office facility, okay? So I would then personalize it back to them, right? There are some people that would still be better suited to go to Keller Williams, but not you, okay? I'm calling you because I've come to realize that you're like the ideal hire for this company. They've designed it to make you a business partner. Does that feel reasonable and comfortable? Okay, cool.
Can't you even say like, you don't know what you don't know? And I didn't, when I talked to you, and you could tell me, no, I'm totally down with this, but like, you know, when I brought you to KW, it was absolutely the best thing I'd ever seen. And then since then, I see that this is better in so many ways. I mean, like, you know, if you choose chocolate ice cream and then you see you could have had chocolate with chocolate sauce. I mean, you know.
And that's just it. I mean, and that's a great point, Robin, because I mean, look at technology. this is an example of technology and things changing and major disruptors. EXP is a disruptor, just like Zillow is a disruptor. And that's what I said to my people, because a lot of them would say, Keely, you were so high on Keller Williams. Now you're trying to get me to EXP. And I would just say, look, better models come along. This is just better. I still loved my time there, but this is just better for me and my family. So.
Yeah, that's right. And again, you know, Keller Williams is a good model, but I think that Robin's phrase is good as long as you personalize it. Don't put it on them, but just say, you know, I felt like I was helping you to make a good decision by coming to Keller Williams. And I now realize I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for that, because when you're an agent of your level of production, I've come to learn that EXP is a better fit.
Yep. Good stuff.
All right.
Hey, gosh, Don, thank you. Such good stuff.
Cool.
We will, this is recorded, so we will put it on Family Tree, I guess, in the next 24 hours or so, and show to your builders and your organization. And yeah, Don, thank you so much.
Sure, and I'll get you that. I'll get that deck so you can have it for your team.
Awesome, great.
Don, can you say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood just once?
Robin, man, you're so damn funny.
You know, I gotta say, I never have been called Mr. Rogers. Okay? I just had my 58th birthday. You're gonna give me a complex here.
No, Mr. Rogers is an icon. I think but not your look. It's your voice. Your voice is so magical. I just want to listen to it. Like, that's what I did as a kid, listening to Mr. Rogers. I'm like, oh, I didn't care that Meow Meow Kitty was up there. I just wanted to hear Mr. Rogers talk.
Yeah,
Robin, you thought he was a hottie.
When Don goes to his closet, his jackets aren't there.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Right.
Oh,
Literally.
Mr. Rogers would not have forgotten his clothes in Monterey.
Indeed, his cardigan.
Yes, that's right. I think you're hot too, just by the way. We'll throw that out there for you, Don.
All right. Well, thank you.
On that note, thanks everybody.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.